The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, the political season heating up with some interesting twists and turns. The FNM is buzzing with varying views on the reported decision by the party's leadership not to offer Killarney MP and former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis a nomination. Also tonight, both major parties held political events in the capital this week. The FNM is feeling confident. Why? Well, many are saying their crowd was impressive. And also tonight, it's the $7 million question. What happened to the $7 million BPL land deal? Years later, and there is still reportedly nothing to show for it. We get to the bottom of that. This is Week in Review Fridays. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. This is Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you along this evening. Well, the political season heating up. It's the Free National Movement that's trending at the moment with chatter in every WhatsApp group and social media post. What has supporters and pundits excited or in some cases vexed? Well, according to well-placed sources, former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis has been notified by party leader Michael Pintard that the party will not give him a nomination. Pintard reportedly told Minnis that he is best suited to the position of statesman, and the party is looking for a well-suited candidate who is wealthy and positioned to represent the Killarney constituency. This, according to Jit Culmer, an MCM in the party. Minnis remains popular in Killarney, though, and reportedly gave no response on whether he will stand down or run independently. Now, Jit Culmer told me the matter will be decided at the council level and not before. And so, this evening, this move is not surprising to many. We've kind of sort of put it out there on the show as we discuss politics and the heating and the sort of the move towards 2026. But is the FNM hurting itself, or is it a smart move to shed unnecessary weight? We begin right there this evening. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, our contributors and Week in Review contributors as well. Good evening to you, Leslie Miller. Good evening to you, Garth Rosborough. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you both here.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas.
Good night, everyone. Good night.
I want to know, gentlemen, first of all, when this announcement or anyway began buzzing from last night. I know you all heard it as well as it was breaking. Like, it's just so much was going on since last evening. Many people talking about it, giving their opinions. A lot of people are vexed. A lot of people are saying, you know what, Dr. Minnis, man, hey, accept it, move on, stand down. And others are saying, are you kidding? This is perhaps the most popular member of parliament on any side you could look at, and you're gonna tell him to stand down, you clip his wings. And so, Leslie, Garth, your thoughts on this move that's apparently still in motion by the party leadership of the Free National Movement?
Well, I had a meeting with one of the young Free National Movement supporters about the time of 5:30 to 6 o'clock. And of course, we exchanged some information, some ideas. The person also had some interest in running in the upcoming general election. Then he said to me that he had a meeting at 6 o'clock at the headquarters. I, of course, went about my nightly runs and chores, and by the time, no, I wasn't doing that. I was looking at bees. The ladies were bees. It was beekeeping. It was all beekeeping. It was all beekeeping. Trust me, it was all beekeeping. But I did get home around 8 o'clock, and amazingly, my phone rang and went off, and I saw a group call. And from the group call, the group call was stating, and they sent me the very same text that was circulating at that particular time, that it was told to Dr. Hubert Alexander Minnis that he would not be getting the nomination for Killarney. And of course, they made their own personal insertion that they believed that this was a losing proposition. So when I looked at the time factor of 6 o'clock, and then me getting the news at 8 o'clock, I then gave it some validity that it's possible that they did have a meeting at 6 o'clock, and this news must be somewhat true. So I went ahead and did my own little personal investigation to find out who may have been there. And of course, one person that was there said to me, it was so. I'm not going to divulge that name. But of course, when I heard this, of course, I called one or two of my other friends and I forwarded the information. Shanique Miller, you are included in that. And I would dare say that in my estimation, we have much to talk about at this time because, like you said, a very popular individual, very strong in the Kalani constituency, and of course, to match him, you said it right, they're going to have to find someone of renown, someone of clout, someone that has a wealth situation.
Oh, so you heard the same thing Jit told me?
Well,
Jit.
This is what I just heard, and this is what I just read, and it's actually on the money. And so this upcoming election, it is something that a leader had to do. It was a very difficult decision. As to why he did it at this particular time, it's left to be seen.
You know, these are some very peculiar times that we're living in right now politically. Here's a man who just 3.5 short years ago was the Prime Minister of our country, was our chief operating official, the man who called the shots, the man who, in fact, had a cabinet that included the chairman as well as the leader, the now leader of the opposition. And here it is now that he's been told by, supposedly, the opposition that he will not be running in the upcoming general election. A man who's in good standing, his constituents, who's very popular with the Bahamian people. But to show you the hate and spite that they have for this man, friend of mine, that they would go to that depths to say he will not be running. He'll put someone else in your place. And as far as they're concerned, he can get lost and go into the wilderness and wander there for the rest of his political life. That's how life is in the Bahamas today, ladies and gentlemen.
But do you think it's hate and spite, Leslie? I mean...
I wanted to address that myself.
Yeah, because do you think it's hate and spite, or do you think it's Pintard and his team saying, man, this dude is weighty. He's been Prime Minister before. This is a new FNM with a new energy, a new mandate, a new focus. We don't need him. That sounds harsh, huh? But that's what they basically said. We don't need you. Stand down.
But how do you trust that type of leadership? What would they tell others then who are not a part of the FNM team in other situations that you're not needed, so get lost and just do away with you? I mean, is that how you treat someone that's given their entire life to frontline politics in the FNM party? That's really the end of the game for you? I may be facing the same fate myself, so let me be careful here.
How are you, Leslie, you ain't a part of Pintard's team, or Pintard even ain't looking at your direction.
Not me, no. That could never happen in
How may you be facing the same fate?
Anything could happen in politics. It happened to him, it could happen to anybody.
The truth is simple, and we have to go back in our memory banks. This has nothing to do with Michael C. Pintard. This is not him. He has accepted a cloak of leadership, but the cloak came from someone else. He was handpicked for a purpose. The purpose is one and done. This is the petty fight, and this is where we are today. Because of a petty fight of, you did not acknowledge me, you never came back to my house,
Garth,
you never had a conversation with me.
Garth,
listen to me. That person showed up at the convention
You're
and made
right on about Hubert Ingram for that?
No, listen what I'm saying to you. Listen what I'm saying to you. Well, if you believe that Michael Pintard could have won that a convention without Hubert Alexander Ingram, I dare to challenge you. I dare to challenge you that Michael Pintard was given the nod. He was supported heavily. He won the convention, and the person of Hubert Alexander Minnis was still saying, I still want to be the leader. Here is the issue. We saw it on television with our own eyes. One and done. We saw it. The book signing situation, we heard it. One and done. You didn't come back to my house. We didn't have this conversation. One and done.
Garth, how do you explain, and Leslie, the lunch that took place, a week and a half, maybe two ago?
You can't. This is what I'm trying to say to you. Michael C. Pintard is only the person sitting in the chair.
So you're saying he is not the real leader of the FNM?
He's not the real leader. I challenge anybody. He is not the real leader. He is being given consultation from elsewhere. It could be a group of individuals. It could be the one individual, but it's not him. And so this decision, I don't rest
So,
solely
but
on the
that's
shoulders
something
of
to
Michael
think
C.
about.
Pintard.
That's something to think about and scratch your head over, because
Yes.
if you were saying Michael Pintard can be dictated to, not can be, is being dictated to.
He's not that
and
strong.
And is not the leader of the FNM, then why should the Bahamian people even number one, take this move seriously? Like, hey, Trump, I got you. Trump, checkmate, sit down. And even entrust him with the leading this nation. Like, what are you saying?
I'm saying to you that a very dear former prime minister, his reward in this whole situation is that when I say what I say, I mean what I say, and that's a done deal. I said one and done. He now has his reward. Michael C. Pintard, as a pawn in this game, now has the reward of being the leader of the royal opposition. Story done. Whether Michael C. Pintard wins or loses in this proposition is not the business now, I think, of Hubert Alexander Ingram. Hubert Alexander Ingram is retired. He's a family man. He's living his best life. Whatever happens in this general election, his hands is off of it as long as Hubert Alexander Minnis is one and done.
So
and
then,
Hubert is saying, I ain't gonna be one and done. I can mess some things up. I can mash up some things. If I can't have it, you surely ain't gonna have it.
so
That's
then,
what we're having here.
So Hubert Ingram is someplace, are you saying, rubbing his hands
He's
and having,
straight.
the,
No,
and,
he-
having, and having the last laugh?
Oh yes, he's straight.
Not the prime
He's
minister.
straight. He's straight.
You don't have
He's
time for all
straight.
of this.
Oh yeah, this.
Leslie, what are your thoughts?
I mean, are you really saying this evening, telling the Bahamian people that this is a vendetta
Yes, I
between
could
the
see
two
it.
former prime ministers?
This is a vendetta and one that deals with respect. That's all this is all about. And the people of the Bahamas are going to suffer because of it. I'm saying that yes.
I mean, you
Well,
know,
I don't think Minnis has any sort of ideas and fancy ideas, Leslie, of being prime minister at this point or returning as prime minister at this point. He just simply wants a nomination to run. I don't think him running poses any risks to Pintard, or does it?
I don't know about that. I don't think, listen, once
Okay.
you get that power in your hand,
Okay.
it's difficult for
Okay,
your
now we're getting
mind
to
to
it.
imagine
Thank you.
that you're anything else.
Thank
I've
you.
seen it over the years.
Thank you.
Last 50 years in frontline politics. Lyndon, God bless him.
I mean, explain
Mr.
this to me then,
Ingram.
Shanique Miller. Explain to me,
Mr.
Leslie
Christie.
Miller.
They don't quit.
If you are the former prime minister, let's just say you got the nomination for Kalani. Would you, Leslie Miller, being a former member of parliament, feel comfortable as a former prime minister sitting in a seat, Kalani, and being a backbencher with all experience and knowledge that you have and people dictating to you?
That's difficult for anyone to stomach.
Thank you very much. So why would you want to
Especially a
run
politician.
again? You want to run again because there's an ambition.
Yeah.
There's an ambition by most people in the Free National Movement. As a matter of fact, all politicians have an ambition to be the prime minister one day.
I
That's
never
why
had
they
it.
get into politics.
Not once it ever crossed my mind.
But you
Not
always
once.
look like a prime minister, so you ain't had to cross your mind.
No,
We see
I
your
always
mind.
wanted to be in support chaos. All I wanted to do really was to serve the Bahamian people to the best of my ability.
But you are one of
I know
few.
that every day I work for and on their behalf of Sir Lyndon, Mr. Hanna, Carlton Francis, and Cecil Wallace Whitfield taught me. Work for the people. You do your best, and when you leave, you have no regrets that, listen, they didn't vote for me this time, but I did my best, and I could walk into the sunset and live a decent life. That's really my whole life in politics has been.
And you did an excellent job, and you are rare.
But he continues to. Now,
And you're very rare.
That's, yeah, exactly. He continues
I
to do
can't
that.
believe that Mr. Ingram would go after Dr. Minnis in
yeah.
such a
I'm
manner.
not talking about what I believe. I heard it from the television.
Because either of
Heard
you
it from
didn't
where?
answer the question.
television, the
Okay,
book
okay. Let's
signing.
leave Prime Minister Ingram alone, right? Because
Yes.
because do you think he would satisfy a grievance that was just a silly statement made some years ago, to at the risk of the FNM being so damaged and scattered that they cannot pull it together to win an election? Do you think that's what I'm saying? Do you think he is there saying tonight and not knowing the Bahamian people are saying, man, enough of y'all. Y'all just another thing?
When you look at all of the benefits that Dr. Hubert Alexander Minnis brought to this country, they were numerous. There were a whole lot of things that we did not appreciate. The whole
is
idea
that?
of being the competent authority. People didn't like
People
being...
still don't understand
Well,
what
I
that
understand
means.
they don't
What does that
understand, but
mean?
I'm just saying there was some...
What does that mean?
There was
The
some
competent
dislikes. I'm
authority.
saying to you that's not
At the time,
everything.
What does that mean?
at the time,
Yes.
he was
What does
trying to
that mean?
walk and chew gum.
Yes, and
that
I'm
was a
agreeing
different
with you.
time, and it was
Yeah.
needed.
I'm agreeing with you.
Was
Some-
it done properly? Well, that's out for,
What
for
was the
debate.
meaning?
Well,
To
if
me,
you
it
would
sounds
allow
like
me,
something
Mr.
over-
Miller, if you would allow me to finish,
Yes,
I would
sir.
say
Go
this to you.
Please.
I'm saying this to you. Whether you liked what happened or you didn't, there was nothing so horrendous that you didn't want him again in your party or as a leader of this country. He was not that bad of a leader. As a matter of fact, he showed every example of being a strong leader. And so this is why I'm querying now, why all of a sudden, upon the PLP winning the election, you showed no love or support for the former Prime Minister? Why is it that after the convention, you still left him in the balance disrespectfully as not to let him know what your future will actually hold? And only at this particular time are we now seeing that it's possible that you may not even be a part of this free national movement. So it leaves you now to wonder, is Dr. Minnis going to continue with his free national movement membership and run independent? And let's just say he does win Kalani, and the PLP wins 19 seats, and the FNM wins 19 seats, and Dr. Minnis wins the 1 seat. What side do you think Leslie Miller saying that's your friend would Dr. Hubert Alexander Minnis go on?
Would he go on?
Not without
You sure that
negotiating.
wouldn't be supporting Pindara?
Not without
This is the point I'm
negotiating. No, he would be in the seat of power and say, "Oh, you know what? Come, y'all come. Let's talk about this
You
now.
do the math.
Let's talk about
19, 19, and 1 is 39.
Listen, anything is possible politically. Eh?
Thank you very much.
This is a fragile season that we're in. I'm going around door to door, and all these constituency people are telling me some things that, anybody could win. I think Mr. Davis and his team has done a wonderful job. He's now looking at reducing what again if he's re-elected. One thing I've found, over the last several months from June, Dave and I've been on the ground. There's no dislike for Mr. Davis.
Not personal dislike.
So who's the dislike for?
No dislike.
No personal dislike.
Nobody really knows the leader of the opposition or cares about him. What the majority of people see, people don't vote for you, they vote against you. And unfortunately, in any election, it's always the government that has most to lose and the opposition has nothing to lose. Because the opposition is always going to pick up seats. There's nothing but about that. The last 30 years have shown us what happens. You're in and you're out. And that cycle got to be broken. I believe Mr. Davis has the ability and the wherewithal and the love for the people that he can break that cycle.
Well, he certainly, listen to me, Philip Brave Davis
and
certainly...
he deserves a second term.
Well, he deserves that's up to what he does. Because I'll tell you this, you heard people asking for you in South Beach. Does he need, we just getting there, Leslie. And quite frankly, you work harder than many of those people sitting in Parliament. Let's just put that out there. But Leslie, I'll tell you this. Is Philip Brave Davis, because you all didn't answer the question, is this move, if it sticks by the leadership of the FNM, will it cost them or hurt them at the polls? There are many FNMs who've been sending voice notes all over the world today saying that, oh, y'all, let's stand down and stay home then. If this goes through and it is as they say, well, let's just stay home. Listen, does it stand to hurt the Free National Movement?
Listen, from my own personal observations and campaign in the last general election going in every constituency, very many FNMs told me point blank, Leslie, I'm an FNM all my life. I'm not voting for Minnis, so I'm voting. That's why only 64% of people went to the polls. The FNMs did not want to vote for Hubert Ingram, for Hubert Minnis.
That's a different
There was a
time,
hate for him. In some constituency, if he had gone in there, he would have gotten hurt.
So you're saying it's a different time, Garth. What do you think? What do you think happens now? Meaning 2026.
But the thing is that now the same people I heard saying that they didn't like Minnis yesterday are now saying to me that they believe Minnis is a stronger leader than Michael C. Pintar.
No doubt about that.
So now that this is coming out, people saying, you know what, this man fed us. This man kept the light on. This man kept the water on. This man made sure that people went to national insurance and got supplements and payments. He did a whole lot of good things.
Too, eh?
Yeah, he did a whole lot.
Yeah, but it was necessary though. But it was necessary. It was a different time.
The problem with the Minnis team was public relations. So now we're in a time where if you pull this gentleman as he's gaining popularity to say, you know what, I need to just eliminate the threat. Here's what now happens. You're dividing the FNM. And to answer your question directly, Shanique Miller, the PLP wins again.
I think Minnis' problem from the beginning was that he never had the full support of his cabinet.
That is also true.
Too many men in there with knives in their backs, stabbing at him every day.
Oh, he was a wise
remember,
man.
he went through some difficult times.
You're a wise
man.
Man.
Through COVID, and he also went through a hurricane. Okay, be that as it may, you got to give him that.
But the same men, Mr. Miller, that he blessed are the same ones who turned on him. Remember when they first started? You remember what happened? They asked for the vacation. VAT went up to 12%. Remember we got the commercial washing machines and the airplane and aircraft parts and buses came and everybody got their little gifts and prizes. The wires started to increase.
So Minnis is a modern day Caesar.
Yeah, but someone called them.
Got a hell of a lot of bruises
y'all know the
around him,
story?
I'll tell you that.
That's what I'm
Got a
saying.
lot of
Y'all know
bruises
the
around
story.
him.
God, come
Got a
on, you
lot
know
of
the
bruises.
story.
Yeah.
A lot of bruises.
Caesar's closest friends and
Fortunately
colleagues.
Fortunately for
But let me
Davis,
tell
he
you
probably
why
only got
again.
one or two.
Let me fix this up for you
How
now,
many does
Shanique. I know you like this
Prime Minister
sweetness.
Davis
No,
have?
I
He
got
got
to make
one or
it sweet
two.
for Shanique.
He
This
got
sweet.
one.
Go ahead, let me hear
Here's
it.
what happened. When they went to Abaco, there was two former prime ministers in the helicopter, if you remember. Two of them riding around. And Hubert Alexander Mills told them that he does not need their help. He doesn't need their help.
Which is an insult, a gross insult
So
to
what
both former prime
happened
ministers.
at that point is you notice that there was a shift in the mentality of the cabinet and the supporting ministers of Hubert Alexander Mills. Somebody made the call and everybody began to say, you know what? We can deal with him. Here comes the dreamer.
Take him
We
out.
can deal with the dreamer.
Yeah.
So what happens now is the very same people who turned on Mills are now running the Free National Movement, and look at the good job that they're doing. Look at the good job they're doing.
Who's doing?
That the ones there now. You got Dionisio Diagla, you have Peter Turnquest.
What is he
You think
doing?
all those people with Menace? You think they with Menace?
Not enough in minutes.
Oh, thank you very much. So look at the good job they're doing. Because I guarantee you, they got some insertion and some say in the Free National Movement at this time.
Very much so.
Thank you very much.
Very much so.
Boy,
Boy,
tell
that's
you.
why I like Leslie Miller, boy.
Very
He was
much
my
so.
pot cake. I like
Very
him.
much so.
Wow.
Good to see you again, my
wow,
friend.
Wow.
Wow.
Always.
Lord, listen to me. Dr. Menace, you come sit here. Let's talk. Let's discuss this. Let's discuss it. Let's see where you made the missteps that you find yourself now, and what's happening, and also what your plans are for the future moving forward. 2026 is right there. And
Right
so certainly, of course, we want to speak with you. I'll say this as we go to the break. I did reach out to persons from Pintard's team, as well as Jit Culmer, from a supporter of Menace, to have an interview and a discussion. Of course, both declined at the time, and so I just wanted to put that out
And
there.
that lady can't speak for men, but that name that don't exist.
This
What
is
the name is
Beyond the
again?
Headlines is backward after this.
What? You don't know what TDC is? Tourism Development Corporation?
You mean the Ministry of Tourism?
No, that ain't the same thing, buddy. The Tourism Development Corporation helps develop and grow behemoth businesses in the tourism industry. You hear what I say, boy?
Oh, yeah.
Develop and grow. You don't know what all the things saying do?
What does do?
Hey, check the website, boy.
Start your journey to ownership of our #1 industry today. Log on to tdcbahamas.com.
For over half a century, we've been more than just an airline. We've been a bridge, connecting families, dreams, and memories across the islands and beyond. Behind every seat sold and every journey planned, there's a dedicated team committed to making air travel affordable and accessible to everyone. At Bahamas Air, we're not just building connections, we're building a safe and dependable airline where quality service is paramount and an excellent travel experience is our priority. Wherever you're going, we're here to take you there with care, with heart, and with the promise of unforgettable journeys. We are family, and just like family, we're committed to taking care of our own. Your Bahamas Air is our Bahamas Air, because here at Bahamas Air, we don't just fly here, we live here.
It's springtime, and Grand Bahama Tiles is having its biggest spring clearance sale ever. With 20 to 60% off store-wide, there's savings for everybody on everything. They have large stock items on wood look, porcelains, and natural stones. And all clearance stock must go. So, what are you waiting for? Hurry in and catch the spring clearance sale now. Call them at 352-7920. Some restrictions apply.
Welcome back to Week in Review Fridays here on Beyond the Headlines. Of course, continuing with politics. What else is there, right? We are really getting into the season. Both the FNM and PLP held meetings in the southern part of New Providence this week. They both had hundreds of supporters in the audience, I am told. But word is, the F&M had an energetic, enthusiastic crowd, which appeared bigger than the PLPs. We'll see what the gentlemen have to say. So, gentlemen, here's, well, you heard Leslie already, so let's jump right in. I'll tell you, they were, all I saw, the pom-poms or whatever that was in the air.
That's what you saw?
That's all I saw. Someone sent me pictures. And so, listen, gentlemen, is this the confidence that perhaps enabled Pintard to shake Minnesota off at this point?
Exactly right. He felt energized, and he felt that he was the man of the hour, so get rid of Minnes. Could be.
I glimpsed Pintard yesterday. He walked through these doors.
Yeah.
I glimpsed him yesterday. Pintard he had his chest out, and he was like, "Hey, Shanique, how you doing?" I was like, "Hello, how are you?" And he appeared taller than he is.
He was here yesterday?
He was here yesterday speaking with, yes, sir, speaking with
Who was here yesterday?
Speaking with a journalist.
Oh, I see.
One of our reporters, yes.
Oh, okay.
I had purpose in my mind that I know we converse much here in this space and other spaces, and I made an effort on that night to attend, even though the weather was quite inclement at that time.
Yeah, it was raining.
I even got stopped by a police officer, and he was like, "Your lights are not on." That's how much I wanted to get there. I didn't even turn my lights on. I couldn't wait to get there.
Yeah.
Rain coming down and all, and so the good officer Stirrup, he said, "Man, just turn your lights on, Mr. Garth, and be safe." So thank you, Officer Stirrup. But I went there, and immediately, of course, I saw the little black vinyl thing halfway through the square. Now, Shanique, you're a journalist.
What talking about?
You know what I'm talking about. You put the black vinyl in the middle of the square because you don't have a full square, so it makes it look like the square full. We talk about visual effects now for the picture that you saw.
Okay, wait. Who you talk? Which meeting you
It's the
talking
Free National
about?
Movement.
God, are you saying it was optics?
There. CV,
but it did happen before,
Oh, jeez, man. I tell you, I've been
former
there.
Prime Minister
You're
running
on
us
the trip,
before.
Garth, in this election season. I on you. I watching you.
God, are you saying that what I describe as...
Jesus.
Go ahead, go.
I watching you. I telling you, I watching you. This is a public event, so Garth was there. You never expect me to be there. I live all the way out west, but I made sure I was all the way south, because south is where I hang out. This is where I get a lot of my information from. So I'm in the south, and the rain is down, and everyone vacates out of the square, and they are all huddled underneath the breezeways at C.V. Bethel School.
Yes.
At the front row was Senator Reuben Ramming and Senator Darren Henfield, my good friends. I wanted to visit them, but at the same time, the rain came down. And the only person left sitting in the square was Dr. Dwayne Sands, and he had two people holding up an umbrella over his head while he alone sat in the rain. I was there. I was there. I'm saying to you, the number that I estimated at that event was 600. 600 between the 4 or 5 constituencies that were represented, or associations that were represented at this particular meeting. When I arrived, the person on the stage at that time came up was Orinthia Komalafi. And she had the pom-poms and the people screaming, and she had a very good response. Very good response. So the next person that I listened to was the Deputy Leader, Shannon Cartwright, and his response was only half of what Orinthia Komalafi got.
Oh, shoot.
At that point, it was rainy.
So should she be looking at the Deputy
God, don't be out too late. So I apologize to the leader. I couldn't stick around for your speech. It wasn't nothing against you, but I had to get home. I live kind of far. But I just had to come see the crowd for myself. You know, I'm going to tell me no lie with those thousands of people. I was there.
I'm set the record straight.
Now, the PLP thing, I couldn't attend everywhere because I'm not omnipresent.
The PLP also had an overflow in Clark.
How much? God say 600 to F&M. How much the PLP had?
At least 1,000.
I heard
because
300.
outside was full.
I heard 200 and 300 collected. One was in Golden Gates, one was in Centerville.
It was split.
So it was split. So they had about the same type of numbers.
But they were not rallies, you know.
They were just
branch meetings.
But the F&M didn't have. But the F&M also didn't have a rally. I am saying.
No, they didn't have a.
No, they had 5 constituencies coming together, whereas the PLP only had
that makes up the Southwest.
That's the difference.
Corridor.
So you can't compare the two.
Number 7, God, not 5.
Yeah, about that, the Southwest corridor.
Okay, but Jesus, all I was saying is Michael Pintard was energetic and his confidence.
I like the responses. They were like, "Hey, guys, people were very nice to me at the Free National Movement."
They ain't gonna be nice when they see you again showing up here.
Listen, I think we need to appreciate the fact, that in the Bahamas over the last 30 years, no political party has had more than 10% of the support from the other. That's how close it is. Within 5-point margins, really.
In each constituency, it's been very close.
Very close.
Very close. But this ain't no time to play no games.
So,
and this ain't no time to cut no fat.
No.
You see, you need all hands on deck, eh?
Yes.
You need all the flames to come together for one big
And remember,
but that is why we started with the whole Minnes.
Of course, because you're smart, Unique. People ain't know to say, you smart, You're pretty tonight again, but you're smart.
And do not forget, 80 to 90% of the people don't go to no rallies, you know.
No,
James.
they
No,
watch
we
it.
know that, but
Okay.
still,
They
I
just
tell
watch
you, no, but a
and
lot of
observe.
the optics also matter, though.
Yeah, optics
because the
are
people sitting at
important.
home,
Yeah, they are important.
they
Yes.
say,
Yes.
And that's why
Yeah.
I went. That's
look at
why
that
I
person's
went.
crowd.
Important.
I think I'm in.
Okay.
And I telling you, they have optics on these things, and
Yeah.
the optics ain't gonna work if you attend. That's why I attended. I
Boy,
ain't
but
lying
now,
to
God,
people.
I don't
with
think
y'all.
the FNM ain't gonna like you tonight because you talking
They ain't gonna
about.
like me.
He just,
I only tell them the truth.
he just calling the
You
facts
talking
the
about they
facts.
put the green fence
it
up.
is.
You know them green fence like the tarp.
Yeah, Shanique, I
To
got
keep
it
the
was
people-
black. I actually got wet that night just for the Bahamian people, so I could tell you all the truth. I got wet. I got wet.
Gentlemen, Prime Minister Davis blasting Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard, who claims that the Davis administration is responsible for a land deal
Yeah,
that
7 million
caused
gone.
the Bahamian and the Bahamas Power and Light Company to lose $7 million, you all. And you all, the funny thing about it is, this happened apparently a few years ago, and nothing has been said.
Wow.
Where in the world is the $7 million? We're going to get the story from Jose Etienne, and then we come back.
Both sides of the political divide continue to trade criticisms
okay.
over the country's ongoing power supply struggles. This just days after two major agreements were signed to transform the Bahamas' energy sector. Opposition Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard took aim at the government's recent deals to bring liquefied natural gas to the country. But Minister responsible for energy, JoBeth Colby-Davis, says the opposition had their chance and, in her view, dropped the ball.
We would have not entered into a land purchasing deal, and paid $7 million out of BPL's already cash-strapped bank book to a company who was selling land and never closed the deal.
For context, under the Minnis administration, a memorandum of understanding was signed with Shell North America to build a 270 megawatt LNG plant. However, to date, that project remains stalled with little to no progress made. Pintard, meanwhile, suggests the current administration is dragging its feet on the details because, in his view, those at the forefront lack the expertise.
I do not believe that even the minister responsible for energy and the prime minister fully understands. They are being advised as they go.
In response, Colby-Davis says her ministry is simply doing its due diligence.
Once we table all of the PPAs, it will be highly technical. But we want to make sure that our documentation allows the public to understand exactly how we're going to move them from point A to point B. But
Prime Minister Philip Davis also weighed in, suggesting that setbacks to modernize the country's power grid stems from missteps under the previous administration.
It's the FNM who started the process. And the way they had it, it was a bad deal for the Bahamian people. And we converted it.
Still, the governing Progressive Liberal Party is standing by its timeline, reaffirming that construction on the new LNG plant is set to begin next year. Linton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
Of course, that's a report from Linton Ritchie Jr. We see the LNG matter that's happening. In fact, the government just this week celebrated the signing of some deal. But let's get back to this, you all. In austere times that this nation and its budget or cannot afford to throw away and wonder where $7 million is. This came up. Now, of course, the opposition leader said, listen, hold up. It's the Davis administration that threw away $7 million, but the Davis administration came back. You heard Colby-Davis say a minute ago in that report that no, hold up, sir. Recall correctly. It is you all that threw away the $7 million. Garth, who exactly is responsible for this missing $7 million that the Bahamas could seriously benefit from right now?
Well, I'd say it started with one administration. It seemed as if with the snap election and everything else that actually occurred, there were delays that took place. The Free National Movement never had the time allotted in order to complete the deal, but they're the ones who initiated the deal.
But so the money was paid, but because of the snap election, it just sat there for a moment.
I think it's just timing. And now the Progressive Liberal Party now has the chair. And now we're just hearing now about the $7 million. The only one that loses in this deal is the Bahamian people. We always lose.
Exactly. Always.
And so every time we change administrations, This is not the first time that this has actually happened. This happens all the time when we change administrations. You know, you stop, you review, and you cancel. And when you cancel, it's our money that's lost. And so somehow, some way, the Bahamian people, and I stand with Shanique Miller on this, and I know Leslie Miller's always fought for the Bahamian people. You people now need to be more aware. You need to be more involved, but more importantly, you people need to stand and say that you know what's going on and you want it to stop. We continue to allow this to happen, and at this particular time, I'm encouraging all Bahamians, number one, to vote, and number two, to ensure that you take possession and you take responsibility for the governance of your country.
But let us take this back to the beginning, though. Remember before the general election, the lady who was chairman, executive chairman of BEC, resigned, fired. You all remember that?
Who fired her?
Okay.
Which government?
She was fired by the F&M government.
Okay.
She was hired by them. Apparently, from what is said, alleged, that this deal went down to purchase this land, to put the regasification terminal. Mind you, we were purchasing the land from Tennyson Wells, God bless him, who has a property right next door to BC. For AES terminal was going to be there.
I recall.
It wasn't cost those $7 million either, not even close.
I recall.
Okay? All right? What happened, I understand, from people are saying, she resigned because of that, because she felt that there was a deal going down with some of the board members that was a part of the F&M.
I recall.
Okay?
So
and one name keep coming up,
so
and she was
allegedly
replaced.
she didn't like the fact that some of the board members were involved in this deal.
Yes, and she was replaced.
That's a lady.
Okay?
Anyway.
She then took the government to court.
I know who the lady is.
It
I
is
know
now
she is.
alleged.
Okay, now it's coming
the lady
to light.
with the
that the
Desmond
primary
Bannister matter.
person who was involved with this deal is now working for the guy who was selling them the land and receiving some $10,000 a month as a consultant to the same guy who they bought the land from. That's what the deal is. They know what the deal is. They don't know where the hell Pentard coming from.
That's where the
because
$7 million
Pentard, you know, he was the minister of the government at the time. Okay? But the land we were purchasing with LNG was coming from the Honorable Tennyson Wells, who's now passed, God bless him, and his wife. That was 5 acres next door to BEC, right on the western side. So I don't know how the $7 million come into play.
So there you have it, Bahamians. There's where your $7 million gone. And then on top of that, someone reportedly allegedly, who was sitting around the table of the board is still benefiting because
still a consultant, we understand, as alleged.
Yeah.
At $10,000 a month
So
to the same guy who sold the land, who wants another $2 million again now if you want the land again.
He winning. That's all I'm saying. He winning.
I don't know who the hell he is, but
meanwhile, here, listen to this, you all. Nearly 50 hotel workers at an Electoral resort are raising concerns about poor working conditions and other ongoing issues. Their union is speaking out on behalf of what she describes as just squalid conditions
that's a terrible
to
situation.
begin with. We get this story from Laurencia
Terrible.
Smith, and then we come back and talk about it.
Heading into a luxury resort on the island of Electoral following a series of complaints from employees. Labor officials confirmed to Eyewitness News that the concerns range from employee infraction to health and safety violations. Based on the nature of some of the complaints, officials say the Department of Immigration may also have to become involved. General Secretary of the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union, Marsha Bullard, says nearly 45 members employed at the Governor's Harbor's hotel property are frustrated in what they have described as poor working conditions.
Is horrible. In this 2025, Bahamians are working in this deplorable condition. They are working, both men and women. They're using the same restroom, both men and women. They have two options of where they can eat, either between the transformer and the one bathroom, or between the transformer and the garbage loaded with flies.
Eyewitness News has received photos and videos of the alleged space showing the lunch area provided for staff at the property. Bullard further claims that there are ongoing issues with national insurance payments, including disputes over payouts dating back to the COVID-19 pandemic. But the most serious allegation, she says, is the property is violating multiple labor laws, particularly as it relates to overtime payment.
They also have one person working as a steward from 8 a.m. in the morning to 11 at night. No overtime. no dishwashing machine. This person especially, have to work manually. The lady hand is burnt, scalded because of the detergent or whatever it is they're using, where she has to have a hand in this water all day, washing and rinsing dishes.
Eyewitness News reached out to the property for comment, and we were directed to submit questions via email. However, no response was received up to news time. The union secretary general says members are making sacrifices to provide for their families, but they have had enough.
The morale is on the floor. The morale is they're just tired. But I mean, I would like to say to you that some persons are making money, but they are not happy with the conditions what they're working in. They are not happy.
This is a developing story, and we will continue to follow. Laurencia Smith, Eyewitness News.
I mean, for an island that's so stunning, you all see the paradise that it's just stunning Eleuthera is, to see that Bahamians there are just working as slaves. You heard the lady said that the Secretary General of the Union is alleging that some of the workers are, I guess, I don't know, commanded to keep their hands in water, that if a dish missing come in, that the hand's ready to catch it to wash. I mean, how do you keep your hands in water for the entire shift, that it burns your hand and have all that issue? But gentlemen, this resort is, I understand, just outside Governor's Harbor. It's a high-end, beautiful, stunning resort. Well, I don't know if I should call it. I learned later what the name is, and we reached out to Laurencia reached out, and so I don't know why we didn't call it. I don't know if the attorneys told her, but it's right outside of Governor's Harbor. That's where it is. It's outside of Governor's Harbor on the beach. You all know the little you know the little bungalows or something right there that make it up.
So how did they get registration under the Hotel Encouragement Act then?
It has a name. It has a name. You all know the name. The name starts with.
No, we can leave that alone tonight.
Oh my God, what is the name of that resort again?
What the hell is this?
It's just outside Governor's Harbor, y'all. That one. Gentlemen, but let's speak to what Bahamians are forced to work under. First of all, this is incentive and inspiration to all of us to get it together for further training, etc., to be able to position ourselves more, to not be on these in these enslaved positions. But somebody has to work it, don't they? So Garth, when you see the foreigners and whomever come and set up shop, and we don't despise foreigners, I'm just saying there has to be sort of better agreements and working conditions, because you can't be sitting down eating in the garbage right there, or you knock into the door to use the restroom and a man is in it, or the man is accidentally
There's only one restroom.
Open the door and a woman is there trying to stoop and pee. Like what is this about, Garth?
Well, we are a royal nation. We are people who expect a particular standard. But just listening to the story, my mind went straight back to 1492, Christopher Columbus. They come off the ship, they see you there, they take away your gold, they take advantage of your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your cousin. You people are being displaced and you don't even know it. The minute that this organization finds out that they are displeased with the type service that they're getting from a particular population, then you'll actually see possibly foreigners coming from other lands just simply to supply them with a labor force. We have seen this before in Lightfoot Key. Haven't we, Leslie Miller? When Grammy used to be a maid in Lightfoot Key. You tell me, Shanique Miller, what does Grammy look like now?
My God.
You know, this is why we, a few weeks ago, we requested that the Ministry of Tourism, right, implement a special unit that you monitor these resorts in our country on a regular monthly basis or quarterly basis.
I agree.
To see to it that our people are not degraded in the manner of which they were degraded. The island is a beautiful place. What I find insulting to me, lady working 13 hours a day without overtime.
18
washing dishes. I mean, who the hell is the owner of this hotel? Why can't their names be called? I'm asking you all, what is the name of the hotel? And no one can tell me. It's not in newspapers. It's got to have a name.
The hotel starts with the letter F.
What the shit?
But it has to be, I guess.
F means shitty or what? Say that you say yes. I mean, I don't know. You said it.
F.
What the hell is that? F? That's voice. I don't want to use that word. I don't want to use F.
Don't
all F up.
I mean, don't say that.
Huh? What it is?
Yeah, the F. It starts with F just outside
the Bahamas. We can't name a hotel, man.
Mr. Miller, let's make a trip and let's check it out. Doesn't mean you
We
go
need
check
to,
it.
because it's a nice restaurant right there on the water. I mean, should the Bahamians abandon the restaurant? Because Bahamians frequent it for their special
This will be come
occasions.
to in 2025.
For their special occasions.
This will
We're
be
going to pick up this discussion and more when we come back on Beyond the Headlines for a final few moments. We're going to be right back after this break.
Who are the boss for dancer?
International events and production. Alive, Bahamas Air, Everybody Wins Live, and Field of Vibes Bahamas Weekend presents
the Evolution Concert on Saturday, March 29th at Clifford Park, featuring Vibes Cartel and Friends.
Bahamas, Nassau, where is Saturday the 29th of March?
It's one of the biggest events to hit the shores of Nassau, Bahamas.
Get ready for Adi the Teacher, the Dancehall King, aka the World Boss, Vibes Cartel.
Real bad man, no muggle in a shot.
Log into our official airline Bahamas Air for travel specials. It gets better. We're also giving away a brand new Cybertruck.
And up to $50,000 in cash and prizes at the concert. Compliments of Everybody Wins Live.
Log into our website, feelthevibesweekend.com.
For tickets, tables, skyboxes, and more info.
Visit Ticket Flare or email intlevents242@gmail.com.
WhatsApp or call 1242-808-2369.
I remember Cartel ever did it.
Do you ever just want more?
But wait, there's Marco's! Introducing the More Marco's menu, packed with your favorites starting at just $6. Like our warm, golden baked cheesy bread, crispy stuffed risotto. How about a hot, fresh, medium one-topping pizza, subs, calzones, pizza bowls, and more. Starting at just $6. Certain restrictions apply. More variety, more value, more Marco's! Order today at Marco's Pizza, Bahamas.
Need a new car for your business? Well, EV Motors and the Bahamas Development Bank have some news for you.
At the Bahamas Development Bank, we are committed to promoting Bahamian businesses and entrepreneurs. With our green lending program, businesses are able to access up to 100% financing to purchase electric vehicles for commercial and fleet use. We are so excited to partner with EV Motors for this initiative to encourage and empower business owners to drive green.
If you haven't visited our dealership on Tony Williams Starling Highway as yet, we have a wide variety of brand new EVs from some of your favorite brands, like Toyota, BYD, and Mercedes-Benz. As the official distributor of Kerry commercial vehicles, we offer a selection of high-performance commercial EVs. Currently, you can purchase the Kerry Cargo Van and the Kerry Elephant Truck, and soon, flatbeds and box trucks for all your business needs.
To access up to 100% financing to purchase an EV for your business, you will need to provide us with a few documents: the business plan or executive summary, business license, historical financials, relevant KYC documents, and the vehicle and insurance quote.
With an interest rate of 6.75% and a repayment period of up to 8 years, you don't want to miss this fantastic opportunity.
To apply, visit our website today at bahamasdevelopmentbank.com or give us a call at 702-5700.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Gentlemen, during the break, you all tossed out the idea that we should go to Eleuthera and take a look ourselves at what's happening at that resort just outside of Governor's Harbor that begins with the letter F, the name. And you know, if you're all for it, hey, put it out there and we'll make it happen.
Let's engage the Bahamian people, eh?
We absolutely do. Let's go and see what happens, right? Or what's going on. Meanwhile, though, I think I'll start here and then we'll come back and talk about the Parliamentary Registrar's Office. I mean, is there a Canadian company doing something there? What they doing and what's happening? In fact, let's just start right there since I started. Keep it right there, Chance, and then I'll come back to that. But Shannon Dawn Cartwright, Deputy Leader of the FNM, says, listen, hold up. What is the government not saying that they have a Canadian company engaged at the Parliamentary Registrar's Office? We all know the botched effort that took place with the recent local government election. As a result, or what subsequently, the acting Parliamentary Registrar was asked to leave or relieved of his duties. And now this revelation. Your thoughts? Now, I'll tell you this before you both pitch in. Wayne Monroe, who is, his office is responsible for elections and the Parliamentary Registrar Department, says, listen, it's nothing funny about this. This same company was engaged to help with the electoralization of the passport at the passport office. Exactly. And so therefore they are doing something similar just to ensure basically that the election or electoral system is at the standard it should be at. This is what he said already in response, and there's nothing untoward going on. But you all, Shannon Ron Cartwright says, listen, he got questions and he wants answers.
But you know what is interesting in this? In the 92 and the 97 election, as I remember, the FNM had bought in a company out of Canada, you know, to advise them. So I'll never forget, Mr. Ingham made a statement, he told me, saying in 97 he could have been every seat. And I believe it. They had the ability in 97 to win every single seat. That's how popular Hubert Alexander Ingham was. And the Canadians told him, you could win every seat if you want to. And he backed off. He said, no, I need a parliament with opposition. Now maybe that company is the same people who's doing this passport for the Bahamas government. Or they believe it is. Maybe someone put that in Cartwright head and said, this is a company that helped us before. Now they come here to help the PLP. So you got to make that an issue. Mind you, I trust it isn't a company. But if it is, they are here. The gentleman who works in that office explained it succinctly this morning. He said they are not here for that purpose, and he will not even entertain those sort of statements being made.
They are not here to try and fix any election outcome. No. That's just what you're saying.
That's what he said. Our elections are always free and fair, and everybody knows that. So you shouldn't inject negativity in an upcoming general election. We already had our fiasco with the last family-added elections, and they did the right thing. They sent the guys someplace else, which was only fair, to make sure that the system works properly on behalf of all Bahamians. Because at the end of the day, you know, we are one people.
Right.
I'm a different, you're FNM, I'm a PLP. But we have one God, and we have one country called the Commonwealth Bahamas, and that's what we got to love more than any political party.
Absolutely.
Love your country first, pleing
coming from the deputy leader of the Free National Movement, I'm just sensing that there's a deep concern in that organization as to the outcome of the upcoming general election. If you really, truly want to win in this upcoming election, you're so busy bickering and complaining, and you're not consistent in your complaints, by the way. But you need to now take the time to learn to listen to the people when they speak.
Go door to door to door.
As you're going door to door, and you've just started, you have many aspirants in many of your constituencies. You gather your information, but you have to find out what is in the heart of the Bahamian people, not what's in the heart of the Free National Movement, what's in the heart of the people of the Bahamas. For 3.5 years, we questioned the Progressive Labour Party as to their functionality. But at the same time, we had to also question you because you also were dysfunctional. And only now you're complaining, and the PLP is pulling up their socks and getting things done. You're hearing a lot of talk about them fixing things. And you're still complaining even when they're attempting to fix it. Why don't you just simply take out your gloves and help them fix the problems? If you can prove to us that you can fix problems, then possibly you could win the next general election because you would deserve it. At this present time, I say strongly, you're not deserving of it because you're not fighting to get it.
Listen, Musk, the good gentleman from the United States, put 5 million Americans on the ground, you know, for President Trump. 5 million Americans on the ground going door to door. It cost him $120 million.
You got to listen to the people. You got to get to the people.
A brand new Tesla every day of the week. So he put his money where his mouth was. You win elections on the ground, my brothers. You could take, you go through any constituency with your big group of 30, 40 people. Hi, Miss Brown. Oh, Miss Dane. That don't mean a damn thing. Visit them and hear what they have to say. That's what elections
So you're saying stop trying to create doubt and suspicion.
Yes.
Instead,
go
get
and
the
hear
work
what the
done.
people have to say.
And prove yourself.
Sit down in their houses. That's what Dave and I do every week.
Prove yourself.
We go and listen to them. Most MPs don't listen to them. They so in a rush.
Is it just FNM? Is it just FNM MPs or PLP MPs don't listen?
All of them are generally speaking.
Generally,
listen.
Politicians don't listen. But if you
those
listen,
who are elected are elected.
The Bible says, "The man who humbles himself will be exalted. He that exalts himself will be abased." You know, when I was campaigning in Carmichael back in 2011, I recall I went into one house, Shanique, And when I went in, I saw flies and roaches all over the place. I said, my God, I can't eat this food.
Jesus.
The woman said, yeah, man, you got to eat this food. I said, well, you know what? Give me 2 plates and wrap it up for my please.
Yeah.
So I can tell you all the truth. So I took the 2 plates of food. I said, well, baby, you know I love you and I appreciate your support. And I walked out the door. I go 2 doors further, and the person said, my God, I'm so happy to see you. I was praying to God all day for some food to eat. I said, well, it just so happened that God got 2 plates of food ready for you. But you see, at least you got to give and take in politics. You just got to give and take. You know, you walk with your bottle of water because you can't eat from everybody. I just being real. But you got to go, Leslie.
Were you hoping
you got to go.
Were you hoping to be a candidate then?
Huh?
You hoping to be a candidate?
I was senior gold rush. I was aspiring for Dr. Danny Johnson. I was the one in Carmichael.
Oh, I see.
But what I'm saying,
wait a minute. You run on the PLP ticket before?
I was running on the PLP ticket, yes.
With Danny Johnson?
I was the deputy chairman for the PLP caucus for 2010 by-election and 2012.
Oh, you're saying you were Danny Johnson's general?
No, I was the person in the front, and they asked Danny Johnson to replace me.
I see.
Garth, you were on the PLP's ticket before?
Of course. I'm the guy who came up with City of Gold and Gold Rush. It was City 2000.
Yeah. It's a wonderful thing.
I'm a strategist. I thought you called me to the show because you wanted a strategist.
I know, sir. Sir, I had no idea.
I apologize if you didn't know.
I had no idea about any of this.
But I'm just saying to you,
wonderful job.
You go in the yards where they got pot cake with the men, and you got to pet the dog.
Yeah,
this is my dog now. This is my pot cake. Yeah, you got some pretty dog in here. You got to pet the cat, even if you don't like cats.
And what they also got to realize,
you got to pick them up and you got to hold them and take pictures with them.
And what they got to realize is that
this little boy child right here. You got to do these things.
And what they got to realize is that 65% of the population are pot cakes. They're the regular, ordinary Bahamians that you got to cater to.
Of the Bahamian people, after them is not getting to the heart of the people.
No.
Are you saying that as
Great
a PLP?
mistake. Great mistake.
Are you saying that as a PLP?
No, I'm saying that it's Garth. Because Garth was also the leader of the People's National Coalition.
Well, I know that. That's what I know about you. That you were a leader of a different.
His own little party.
His own little party, exactly. Listen, let's get to this really quickly because I see Chance trying to say, Shanique, excuse me, and move on.
Yeah, move.
Former Prime Minister of Jamaica, Bruce Golding, is speaking out about the dire situation that continues in the nation of Haiti. Golding says that the nation is on the brink of collapse. You will remember this week, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio spent some time in meetings with a handful of regional leaders. Among the issues he addressed was the solution to get peace restored in Haiti. Golding says at least 1,500 additional boots are needed on the ground in Haiti.
1,500?
1,500. That's telling. Yeah, exactly, because that's telling them make no difference. Now we know that a group of Bahamian officers were sent recently to Haiti.
We got 6.
How many? 6 again? Again? What are they doing? I don't know what's going on. Like, what are they doing in Haiti right now? Why are they there? Anyways, gentlemen, he says, listen, this is needed to get the situation in guard. And Leslie kind of just went just where I was going. 1,500? You think that's going to make a difference?
I mean, 15,000. Please,
I think that. Garth, jump in first.
He's serious.
I stand with Leslie Miller on this.
Serious.
Haiti has been crumbling for quite some time.
Yeah.
This brink that they speak about, the brink of collapse, they were on the brink of collapse when their monies were taken away from them, when their natural resources weren't sufficient, when they were cut off from the world,
France for that.
and when they were punished for just simply being a true independent nation. And until they decide that they want to be a part of the global society in terms of trade and occupation, they will continue to be punished. There is no solution with 1,500 or 15,000 soldiers. The solution for Haiti is you bow and you serve. If you do not bow, you pay. And so this is the lesson to the world, that sometimes when you can't feed yourself, you simply just got to bow. Ask Esau when he came home what he had to do. Hello, Jacob.
Oh, you pay for the piper, son. But, you know, Haiti, our brothers and sisters, we love them. We have done all that we could, but the Bahamas can't carry no more load, man. Y'all got to give us a break. We don't have the capacity to continue to carry that load mostly by ourselves. We have more Haitian knots in our country than all the Caribbean, South and Central America combined. We have done our job. And no one wants to help us economically to assist in the problems that we have. Bahamas have problems too, you know. Okay? And God bless them. But 1,500 ain't gonna do so.
No,
15,000 ain't gonna
That's
do.
extremely conservative.
Okay?
No.
It appears to me that God has turned his back on Haiti.
I think God turned it. I think God turned it.
You don't think God got them still, Leslie Miller?
Huh?
You don't think God still got them holding on?
God got them. God, that's
so.
the, God got them.
I know my God, he got me holding
But
on.
as long as they have all of that uranium in their mountains, America will continue to protect Haiti. Because Haiti still has a value.
For their own self-interest.
Yes, sir.
Of course.
For their own self-interest.
Yeah, absolutely. Gentlemen, I thank you both very much. It's been certainly a spirited, engaging
Glad to be back with my brother again.
Week in Review Friday.
Good to see you again, too, sir.
Real pleasure.
Good to see you.
Yes. I know you did ask about Garth Wesley, so there he is. Listen, I thank you both very much. Fantastic, always informed, certainly presenting your thoughts and opinions and perspectives on the issues in a very animated, wonderful way, and I'm grateful for that. Good to see you both. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in all week long and tonight. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you right back here on Monday evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Have a blessed weekend, everyone.